Hi, come on in. Shh, come on in. Today I'm whispering because it's early. No, it's not that early. Levi actually got me up at about, let's see, 2:15, 6:15, 7:15. So I had very broken sleep last night. But you know, when you have a old man in the house and he's got to go, you got to go. There's no such thing as a clock. So hi, come on in. Come on, set a spell with me. I have a TEMU order for you today. One of my many lost orders. That one took 24 days to get to me. I did do a little research, as did some of you, shared your experiences, and it does appear that because customs is now doubled down, that they're checking customs before it leaves their country and it's hanging out at customs here, it's taking longer. But I've gotten a whole bunch of credits because of the delays. So I'll take the credits, right? Before we get into the order, we're going to talk just a little bit about TEMU, and I mean a very little bit. Just a quick recap. In case you haven't noticed it, I wanted you to all be aware that the ships from TEMU option is still totally random. 99.9% of us do not have that option to click on that sort little hyperlink. Some of you have had it and now it's gone. Some of you never had it and have it. Some of you have always had it and never lost it. No rhyme or reason to it. TEMU was working on it, but they really have no clue. I don't think. I seriously don't think they have any clue what they're doing. So don't expect to see it. If you've had it, don't expect to get it back. Just basically, none of us should have any expectations when it comes to that little sort option. I'm not holding my breath. I don't even look for it anymore. If it pops up, we're obviously going to see it. We're going to notice that it's there. The second thing that's now all of a sudden back is, if you remember a month or so ago, when you would look for a price adjustment, it would pop up with two options. It would either say price match or price adjustment, and there'd be two bars. And if one of those bars, if the bottom bar that said price adjustment was orange, then you had a price adjustment waiting for you to claim from the vendor that you bought from. So those double bars are back. It's still the easiest way for us to do a price match if we do find the exact same item cheaper. So needless to say, as soon as that came back, I went and claimed my price match on the hand railing and on the fire pit because I did find them a little bit cheaper. I don't care if it's $1 cheaper, it's still cheaper. I did find them a little bit cheaper elsewhere. So check those out again. Some of you have already noticed it. Some of you may not have noticed it. And then the other thing that I've noticed is happening more often than not is TEMU is doing, or not TEMU, Customs in the US part of it is doing a random inspection. I've had, and I'll put a picture of the little blurb up here. One of my packages that I've been waiting for already for 3 weeks has been sitting in customs for quite a while because it was selected for a random hands-on inspection as opposed to a scan. Now, I can only guess what item they might have focused in on, thinking it was something else. But come on, guys. You know, they need to get this done and not just tie things up forever. I get that they want to be safe. I'm on board with that. But this thing does not have to sit in customs for 2 weeks. That's ridiculous. I know they're overwhelmed. I know they have a lot to do, but they need to come up with a better system so things flow through quicker. And they need to make sure that they don't impede these packages beyond reason, right? So I've got an order sitting there waiting for a hands-on custom inspection. You may or may not have seen this, but I did want to bring it to your attention just in case. Okay, so that's it. That's all we're going to talk about Temu today. If you do have any questions, concerns, queries, posers, you can either put them in a comment or you can email me, konneeslittlecorner@gmail.com. And if any of you who have already done that before, you know that I do respond to you. I try to get back to everybody within 24 hours. Sometimes that's not quite possible, but I do get back to you definitely within 48 hours. Okay? Okay. Don't shoot the messenger. Let's see what's in this Temu order. Now, I told you there was a few things that I've been hesitant on, but that I was finally going to pull the trigger on. Well, this is one of those things. This was $8.87 prior to any price adjustments. Charlie for this because the box is closed. All righty. This is going to help with some of the things that you've asked for, believe it or not. You've all been asking, either in comments or by emails, that you actually want to see me actively doing things outside or actively doing things around the house. And I don't have the best camera setup there is. I'm not used to videoing with my phone. Excuse me, with my phone. So I got myself an extendable, a 53-inch extendable tripod. And this is a, hey, I mean business kind of tripod. This is one of those tripods that is seriously sturdy. It's all metal. Got the good legs and the base on the bottom. It's got different extension levels that you can expand it to depending on how much or how little you need it, how high you want it to go. So you've got the bottom section here, and then it's still going. And then you've got the top section. So this goes about 60 inches. That's 5 feet. That's pretty good. And then it's got a nice sturdy base on the bottom, which, oops, I'm poking my wall, which I'm very, very happy about, that I can have as tight to pull it out too. Very tight to pull it out. So I have no doubt that it's not going to collapse on me. I can loosen it up a little bit if I need to. I can adjust the bottom, I can adjust the top, and I'm going to shrink it back down before I crash something in my house. So I've got an extension. It comes with the mount, the extra mount, and there's the clip that holds the phone. So you can put it on the top. You set this up yourself. I will be making use of this. I actually wish I had it before I did the video that you're going to see later on in here. I could have set this up yesterday with something I was doing outside, because you like to see hands-on, and I want you to be able to see hands-on, but my little bitty, 10-inch tripod just was not cutting it. This is also going to be great for when I'm doing a cooking video for you guys, because I can actually stand it on the floor in front of the stove and have it pointing down at the stove so that you can get a much better view at what I'm making. So that's what I did, guys. I heard you. I listened. I heard you. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. Uh-oh. And I just dropped it. Hold on. Okay. I'm glad I can still bend like that. What else we got in here? Oh, let's pull these out. As I've been doing things around the house, you've all heard me talk about how I'm still trying to organize the shed, and I got my storage chest out in the front, sorted out with things I need on a regular basis. Excuse me. I was outside with Levi a lot this morning, so my allergies are like really wicked. So I got myself more little storage containers. Now, I was going to do something that I had done previously, and that is you get little baby jars and you screw the metal lids to a piece of wood, and then you put the different things in the jar so that you can see them. And then when you need them, you just unscrew them and take them down. Well, my shed doesn't have any cross pieces. Everything's at an angle. And I really didn't want to start finagling a way to do that. And I don't have a lot. It's not like I have a shop, but I did need to keep them separated. So I've got this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is a 24 grid. This was $3.28. And these grids are a little deeper. So these are going to go for the bigger items that I have down in my bin. Nicely hinged, nice sturdy latches, and the grids. And the grids, you can take them out, move them around, leave them out if you need a double space for something. So this is totally adjustable, and this is going to hold a lot. This is pretty deep. I would say this is about 1 inch deep. Let's see. From the top to the bottom where you would actually fill it, you're looking at 1 inch. And that's plenty. So my larger pieces of maybe bolts or just those big odd pieces, I could be putting anchors in here. I don't know, but I'm just going to get it organized so that I already have one of these sitting behind me over there, right there on the kitchen. That has the smaller little screws and things in it. This will go for the thicker things. And then this one, this is, what is this, 28 grids, I believe. This one was $2.95. Get this one open. My bin keeps closing. I love that it's automatic, but it's a pain in the neck when it keeps closing. So this is 32 grids. 2, 3, 4, 8 by 4 is 32. So this is much thinner. As you can see, it's about half. So this is about 1/2 inch. And I got this one specifically for all my little washers and little tiny brads and little tiny tacks and things that I have. So these are not interchangeable. In other words, you can't move the grids on these. You can't change the sizes. But if you look at the lid, it has grooves on the lid so that when you close it down, it locks over each compartment and stops everything from jumping from compartment to compartment. So this one I got specifically to hold all my little washers and little bitty tiny things like those 1/2 inch brads that are pain in the neck, but you need them for tacking little things every once in a while. So, and these, of course, once they're done, for now, they'll go out on the porch in the cabinet, in the tool cabinet. And eventually, when I get the shed done, they'll go out in the shed. Organizing. A couple of you have made comments that and trust me, you don't hurt my feelings when you make comments, so don't even worry about that. I love hearing whatever you guys have to say because I know you're being constructive about it. Some of you have mentioned that, you think I'm going to need more storage bins or more storage solutions, that I might be running out of space. I have everything I've got, I have plenty of space for. And before I get it, I always know where I'm going to put it, what I'm going to do with it, or what the options are, how I'm going to make use of it. I already have that all planned. And even though I downsized to a tiny home, because I've so meticulously organized everything and I'm still organizing everything, I actually have empty spaces. This one cabinet right here on the end, it has very little in the bottom. The top of this long cabinet is completely empty. I have more room in the cabinet that I showed you last week where I put the shelf in it, and then I put my bakeware and my cooking pans and things down in the bottom of that. I still have plenty of space left in that. I have an enormous amount of space now left in my pantry because I got all that stuff out of the pantry. I have a whole top shelf of my bigger cabinet that's over the dishwasher that is completely empty. I have 4 big empty dresser drawers and 2 big empty nightstand drawers. I've got space I didn't anticipate having. I don't plan on filling it, but as I get things, as I said, I know in advance where I can put them, where I can keep them, and do I have room for them. And it's probably a good thing because I've got some big stuff and some pricey stuff coming, but it didn't come from TEMU. All I will tell you is that this Amazon stuff. Some of you did get close to answering the question. Very close. I mean, you some of you were like cold, cold, lukewarm, warmer, hot. One of you was like hot, like really close. Nobody was on fire. Nobody actually got. When is an Amazon order not an Amazon order? Nobody's figured that out yet. Well, you're going to find out in my next video, not in this one, because in this one I have something different that we're going to do. Charlie didn't do his job. Charlie, open. Thank you. I'm talking to an inanimate object, right? Okay. This was $8.27. Remember this I showed you last week? This beautiful rotating pen holder for my desk? Well, I got the matching tissue box. I hate having these ugly little square, crushy looking, icky tissue boxes sitting around out here. It doesn't even like it. It just hit the floor. Ah, okay. So I got this. Is this not cool? Now, the only thing I have to figure out how to do. Oh, there we go. I think I figured it out. It's got a magnetic closure on the bottom, and that was tight. That was pretty tight, actually. Yeah. So, magnetic closure. Let's stick this puppy in here, box and all. You don't have to take it out of the box. There we go. So much more attractive. Great quality. Look at that. But it's an exact match to the round one. So it was worth it for me to have the set that looks good. And for right now, this will sit on my coffee table, which will look just as good on the coffee table as it would if it was sitting on the corner of the desk. Very nicely made, beautiful stitching all the way around. If you don't want to see the box, you don't have to put it in with the box. You can take the tissues out of the box, keep them folded in half, and just feed them up through. But I just did that to show you that the box will fit inside of this and how easy it is actually to open it and change it. Yeah, it stays closed. This is solid. This is really good. It's not squishy. Very nicely made. I'm really happy with that. And of course, as you know, they do come in other colors and other patterns, but this is the corner library look that I was talking about. Kind of classes it up a little bit, right? Okay, that's going to go right on the table now. That's done. More. Oh, there's a couple little things in here. Ah. Did you ever downsize too much? I did. I downsized way too much when I moved over here. I did that for two reasons. Number one, I didn't know how much space I was going to really end up having in here because the house hadn't been built yet. So I wasn't sure. And I didn't want to bring stuff with me that I knew I wasn't going to have space for. So the only thing I really knew is that I was not going to have 11 kitchen drawers like I did when I came from my house in Arizona, or 15 kitchen drawers like I had in my house in New York. I knew I was only going to have 3, maybe 4 kitchen drawers. So all the little things that I had put in my kitchen drawers, I didn't have room for. So I let them go in, like when I did the garage sales. So I let my clips go. And I had to get more bag clips. So for $2.42, and I love these because these are plastic coated, so they won't slip, and these are tight. It's a set of 4 little bag clips, and they're big enough to do the job, but small enough not to take up any space. I really like the way these are. These are very dipped in, I don't know if you want to call it plastic or rubber, but that's a teal a lilac, a light pink, and a mint green. Nice metal in between, good strong hinges. Can you see that in there? Very strong. And this kind of stuff, it doesn't slip off the bag. Okay, it grabs it good. So they're not going anywhere. I had these before. I left them behind. Did I leave them behind? No, I put these in the garage sale. So I got myself more. Kitchen clips. And guys, these are also great for laundry. If you have something that you need to hang up on a dry line, here in my community, we cannot have clotheslines out in our backyards or in our yards anywhere. But we can, if we have a porch, we can have a line on our porch. And of course, as you all know, I have a screened in porch. And I do have a line, I just haven't put it up yet. So if there's anything I need to hang, I can hang it using these, something to air dry if I just want to put it up there on the clip. So yeah, a lot more than just food bags. Anything that you can think of that you might want to clip together, you can do that way. Now, this was a little frivolous, this next item, but it was silly. And I thought, you know what? These are going to look a little cute. And if you recall, my first piece of sublove mail that I got to my P.O. box was a packet of succulents, mixed succulents. I have to eventually get those planted. And I thought, well, you know what? They'll look really nice in an actual succulent planter. But I thought what would be cute was these little guys. And these are all different. These are little ladybugs with umbrellas. Well, 4 of them have umbrellas. This one has a yellow umbrella. And they just stick into the soil with these little spikes on the bottom. They're flat, but they're the acrylic, the heavy acrylic, so that they will stand up to the weather. I could put them out in the regular garden if I wanted to, but I thought they'd be cute in the little planters. So there's the yellow one with that little goofy look on its face. And here's the green one. Green one's a little bit different. Green one, you can see the hand actually holding the umbrella. Where on this one, on the yellow one, you don't see the hand holding the umbrella. It's like it's attached to its head or behind its head. This red one is looking off to the side. And the umbrella is a little bit cockeyed, which I think is very cool. And you can see it holding. This yellow one, it looks like he has 3 arms. One holding the umbrella, one over here, and one sticking out on the side. I don't know what that's about. I have no clue. I just don't know. I mean, it's not a wing because these red and black polka dot things, that's the wing. So I have not, this dude's got 3 arms. And that's what got me when I saw that. It just made me chuckle. What do they call that? Symbiosis or yeah, there's a word for it when you have something attached to you. And then this little dude doesn't have any umbrellas, just kind of hanging around with a silly grin on its face. So I thought these would be cute. It was a set of 5 and it was only $2.85. Well, by the way, all this stuff, this was all direct shipped. Kind of cute, kind of silly, but I thought they'd look good on the porch, on the bench, once I get the succulents all planted. So I'm going to put those over there with the succulents. Now, they had a lot of other things like that. They had frogs and turtles and bumblebees and dragonflies, but something about these guys just kind of made me chuckle, especially the guy with the 3 arms. All right, what's left in this bag? This is the last thing in the bag. So this is the last thing in the order. And this is a big box. Now, what's in here is bigger than I anticipated. But when I ordered it, even though I saw the measurements, when I ordered it, I said, all right, I have two options. I can either put it here or put it here, and I would be happy with either place. After my credits, this only cost me $1.31. So that's why I decided I was going to get it. And I'm going to have to, let's see if I have a place I can put it. Hold on a second here. All right, I can set it right there. Hopefully I don't knock the computer. Hold on, I need coffee. Okay. So I'll give you the first hint. Look at the size. This is 4x4. This is a little shelf that does have a ridge, and it's got two grooves on the very bottom of it. There's a set of two of them. Okay. There's two hook screws, which I won't be using for this. Well, I might not be using for this. I might use it for one of them. But it does come with two really long hook screws, and it comes with the anchors in case you're putting this into sheetrock. But these are basically a wood screw, so you can put them right into a piece of wood, whatever the case may be. So by now you can tell, obviously, it's something to hang because it has a hook, right? Okay. See if I can get this untangled. Maybe not. Maybe we're all tangled together. All right, I got it. Okay. We've got a wooden knot on the top. Look at the size of this ring. I'm going to measure this for you. I believe it's 12 inches. Yep, 12 inches across. So the diameter in this is 12. And I knew that when I ordered it. I knew that's what it was. So that's not a surprise. Now, you open it up like this. Take the tracks on the bottom. Get the wires down into the tracks. You have a plant hanger. This is big, but it's sturdy. There's my coffee cup. So this is a set of two. This is very nicely made. I like that it has the wood ball on the top. I put this out of the way here. One of these, my plan was to hang one of these in the kitchen window on that rod I put up, and put my glass mason jar on here with the ivy hanging off of it. And I could have the ivy draped around this or whatever, because this would work better than a curtain, having a natural plant to block. Now, it's too big for me to have the two of them hanging in the window. But the second one I wanted to hang out on the front porch with one of those, with another one of my mason jars with some plants growing in it. I have a lot of plants that will grow in nothing but water. They never need soil. And I thought this was just great. But this is heavy powder coated metal. It's wrapped really, really beautifully. Okay, once you put your item on here, you can find your level as to exactly where your shelves need to be placed, and the weight of your item will hold that shelf down where it needs to go. But it does fit in the track very, very nicely. And it doesn't detract from your plant. This is pretty long. You can tie it up, double it up, braid it up, whatever you want to do to get it to the height that you need. What do you think about that, guys? So you were wondering what I was going to hang on that rod that wasn't a curtain. This, among other things, is what my plan was. I'm going to hang a flower pot, a planter, something live in the window. And I'm starting with the ivy. I'll hang this off to one side, and then I'll let the ivy drape up around this and then up across the rod and let it come down as ever it wants to come down and fill up that window space. That will be my curtain. I will have a living curtain. What do you think? Do you like the idea? I was actually thinking that there's other plants other than the ivy that I have that I can put into mason jars and let those grow and hang down. And something maybe with a little more color. I could do a bleeding heart because bleeding hearts can grow in water and they're very pretty. But I think that might be a little too big. I want something I can control. I was also thinking that I would do something like a variegated spider plant, where I can actually put the spider plant up on the shelf next to grandma and great grandma's items and then let the babies and whatnot come down and hang down on the window. I love live plants in the house. They're really good at putting oxygen in the house and pulling impurities out of the air. Not to mention that they're like just really nice to look at, you know? They're absolutely nice to look at. Okay, so that was the order. Now, I'm not going to count on my TEMU items, my TEMU orders anymore. I still have, I don't know, 5, maybe 6 floating around out in the universe someplace. They get here when they get here. But the next video that I do for you guys is going to be Amazon. And I'm going to answer that question for you as to when an Amazon order isn't an Amazon order. It's a little befuddling, but keep guessing. Keep putting your comments down below. I'll let you know if you're anywhere from cold, warm, hot. If you're blazing, that means more than likely you are just about hitting the nail on the head, which to what it is. So you've got a few more days to guess. Because today's what? Sunday? Yeah. July 13th already? That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Let's get on to what's been going on just around the corner. So we're going to start with the burning questions. Everybody wants to know how, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? Connie, crazy lady, how are your veggies doing? Well, I did a little video, and I figured the easiest way is to do a little show and tell. So look at my gardens. Let's see how many watermelon we can find. Let's start on the side where we were before. Let me see. Oh, there's one right there, a little one. Here's another one. This one's getting pretty good size. There's another one. So there's 2 right next to each other getting a pretty good size. I know there's more than that in here, but they're hard to find. Let's go down the side. I'm pretty sure. Oh, yep, look, there's another one. Right, this one's growing a little weird shape, but that's okay. I'll take it. That's pretty good size already. I think we have about 5 or 6 in here. I know there's another small one in here somewhere. I remember seeing it the other day, but as you can see, the bin is full. Oh, there it is. Look at it hiding down in there. Can you see it? Right there? That one's growing good. And there's more growing every day that are popping up. When you have a bin like this that is root bound and full, they do tend to grow better. I know there's more in there, and there's more about to come. There's my pepper, my surviving pepper, which I'm very happy it did survive because we had so much rain I lost my tomatoes to root rot. But the pepper's doing good. My pollinator plant is doing beautifully. My tomato plants, not so much. Tomato plants are dying back from root rot, as you can see. So I picked the tomatoes off the plant. I'm going to leave it alone, see what it does. It may fruit again in the system. A couple of rotten tomatoes down there for fertilizer. But I'm not too disappointed considering how much rain we got. It's okay. I did get 4 tomatoes off of it though. And last but not least, the grass. It's coming along quite nicely actually. The part up here behind the shed that got the second seeding is now starting to come up and fill out better. And this more recent new seeding, I know it's hard to tell because the grass is very, very fine. You can barely actually tell, but it is coming up. I'm getting a fair amount of green, though it doesn't really look it here. But it's coming. It's going to be a long process. There never was grass here before, so it's taking a lot of fertilizer, a lot of water, and a lot of patience. I'm happy. Yes, I'm disappointed with the tomatoes, but when you get that much rain, you're bound to get root rot. And I have heard from other YouTubers and gardeners in the area and farmers in the area that many of them lost their entire crop of tomatoes. I only had the 2 plants. I didn't manage to save for the tomatoes when they just hit their ripest point, and they're small. They're only about this big. But when you get that much rain, what it does is it depletes the calcium in the soil. And I can't use my fertilizer because that adds, yes, it adds the calcium, but it adds more water. So it's kind of like a catch-22. I didn't have a powdered fertilizer, which I may or may not invest in down the road. But my watermelons, as you saw, are doing great. I did, after doing the video, I went out and checked, and I actually have 11, all different sizes. The biggest one, as you saw now, is about the size of an orange. I have some that are like the size of pears and peaches. I have some that are the size of walnuts. And I have about 4 or 5 that are about the size of my thumbnail. They're just starting. But there's a lot of foliage in there, so it was hard to see them. So they're doing really, really good. My pepper, I had more buds on the plant, but again, the root rot and the excess water got to them. But this one pepper, this is a die-hard pepper. Now, granted, it's green. It should start changing color soon. I'm hoping. Oh, hold on. I got to check on Mr. Levi. Okay, he's okay. We'll talk about him in a minute. So that pepper, I am crossing my fingers that it continues to do well. The grass seeding that I did and the reseeding that I did, as you saw in the video, it's kind of hard to tell, but boy, there's an awful lot of fine little baby hair grass coming out there. That spot, that whole section, was buried under the house that used to be here. So it was not good soil. It didn't have any nutrients. It never had any grass on it. It was loaded with tree roots. I'm grateful that anything is growing, and I'm very happy with what's growing, and I'm very pleased with the rate it's growing now that I use the straw that has the tackifier in it, because it's keeping the seed in place and it's doing much, much better. It's been 2 weeks and it's far beyond what it was the first time I did the seeding. The caladiums along the side of the house have not yet sprouted, fully sprouted. However, when I took my finger and I moved away a little bit of the mulch to get down to the soil, I could see just a little tiny tip of green on a couple of them. Now, caladiums, anytime you grow something from a bulb, it doesn't matter if you're covering it with soil and with mulch. That's fine. It'll push its way right up through the soil, right up through the mulch anyway. Some people don't mulch until they see the sprouts. You need to mulch from day one so that it does 2 things. It protects from sunburn on a young plant. It gives extra support when the sprouts do come up from wind. It helps hold the sprouts. But most of all, as we all know, mulch will keep weeds away and hold the water. So it provides multiple services to the young plant. I'm tempted to go to all 6 of them and move it away just to give them a little extra boost. But now that I know that I'm seeing them, I'm just going to leave them alone. I'm going to let them do their own thing and we'll see what happens. You got to be patient, right? And no, they didn't come from TEMU. They came from an actual grower. I don't remember if it was Burpee or one of those other ones, but it was a reputable plant store that I got the bulbs from. So the caladiums will come up eventually. Now, my mystery plants, my front lamppost big barrel pot. I planted what I believed were going to be hostas. Now I've planted, gosh, probably 10, 15 different varieties of hostas when I lived in New York. The majority of hostas come up looking like your finger. They come up looking like an piece of asparagus sticking out of the ground. They're thick. But I have had some that came out, they started out spindly and then they thickened up. So it all depended on how they were propagated and what they came from. But as these got taller, and you saw in the last video, these were a good 6, 7 inches tall. They were staying spindly, and I started questioning, maybe they're really not hostas. Well, one of you did comment they were hostas, but I got an email from my friend across the pond. Hi, Michelle. Thank you. I got an email from Michelle and we started communicating back and forth. So I sent her a couple of close-up pictures of the leaves. She used her plant identifier apps. I used apps that I had access to. And we narrowed it down to 2 possibilities, neither of which were hostas. So we know for a fact they're not hostas. I have no hostas. Just further proof you do not buy seeds from TEMU. Okay. So as always, you know me, I will find a silver lining if I can. And Michelle and I talked about this and we both agreed this actually is a silver lining because the 2 choices, the one possibility, which is only like a 15% possibility, is an Eastern redbud tree. Think of a Japanese maple. All right, when it first gets all those beautiful blooms on it before it gets the red flowers. Or what's that other tree that grows all over Washington with the beautiful little pink flowers all over it? But I'll put a picture up here. This is what an Eastern redbud looks like, right? And this is what the leaves of an Eastern redbud look like versus what my leaves look like. So there's only like 15%, 12, 15% chance that it's an Eastern redbud. There's a 95% chance, not only from 2 of the apps that Michelle used, 2 out of 3 of the apps came up with the same answer for her. Both of the apps that I started using newly also came up with this as the primary idea. This has a 95% chance that these are hibiscus and that they're roselle hibiscus. Now, guess what? Roselle hibiscus is a red and white flower. Not a red and white hosta, but it's a red and white bloom. I'm okay with that. I think hibiscus blooms are absolutely gorgeous in any color. So there's a 95% probability. So the first thing I did yesterday is I dug them out of the pot that the planter that they were in, because obviously that planter was not going to be able to accommodate them, and I needed to get them ready to go into the ground and not actually be able to keep them growing. Yes, I probably could keep one plant in there, but if I keep it trimmed back too much, it's never going to bloom, and it probably won't bloom this year either. But I'm pretty sure it's a hibiscus. Hibiscus also has a nickname. It's called a swamp rose because it loves water. And believe it or not, hibiscus will usually grow wild along riverbeds and stream beds and around lakes and things like that because it loves water. Well, this is the perfect environment because it rains almost every day for about 5 minutes. It's like Hawaii. Don't worry if it rains, blink, it'll stop. All right, and then you can go on about your day. It's that kind of climate over here. So what I did is I dug them out. I put them into what I call jug pots, and I got them ready to transition them into the soil. So take a look at this. The transplanted mystery plants survived the transplant. They're all nice and perky this morning. There's one bunch, there's the second bunch, there's the third bunch. That one's doing really good. And there's the most colorful red bunch. And we're going to talk about what these actually might be. It was easy to do. I had been saving these milk jugs to put my leftover paint in when I finished the painting that I had to do around the house and on the shed. But again, with the rain, I haven't been able to paint the shed yet. So I figured, well, I'm always going to have new milk jugs. I don't have to keep these. I cut them down. I divided all the sprouts into the 4 jugs, and I set them where I'm going to set them, in between the caladiums. So that whole side of the house will have the dark lord, the hibiscus, and in between those, as they come up, the caladiums, which are lower, like a hostas. So higher bushes, lower fillers. So I have all that. So these, I'm going to give them probably about a week, and then I will just cut away the jug and put them down into the ground and let them grow. We won't know for sure until they get to be about foot tall, because with hibiscus, they do start out exactly like this. They start out very spindly stems. But because they started out outside, those little spindly stems are strong from being in the wind. As they get bigger, then they start to get woody and thicker and get more like, first they start looking like a rose stem, and then they get a little bit bigger and start looking like hibiscus stem should look. I may have hibiscus until tomorrow. If that's what these turn out to be, I only planted like 35 seeds. I was sent 200 of these things. I'm going to have hibiscus all over the place. But what I thought is, wow, if that's what these are, then that's definitely a silver lining. It's still a red and white flower that I was looking for. It's that red and white color that I was looking for. And I was fully reimbursed by the vendor at TEMU. Don't buy any seeds from TEMU, ever, ever. If it does not say live plants, actually, I would recommend not even that. Don't get anything that grows from TEMU. There's no guarantee. And I've struck out 4 out of 4. Now, also, what I thought was the trumpet vine that I had planted, turns out was just a good old weed. And you might have seen that in the picture. It kind of looked like a little pine tree, but it's not pine, but kind of like spiky leaves. That's just a weed. And I recognized it as being a weed because I've been pulling them out of the yard as I'm doing gardening and yard work. So I let them get big enough or I could pull them out, and then I put them in the trash bag because those things will multiply like rabbits, right? And you want to make sure you get rid of them. So right now, the only thing that is in that front barrel are 3 iris that I transplanted from another place in the yard. And I'm going to let those continue to grow. And I'm just going to find myself some seedlings or some young hostas that are already started that I can be sure they're actually hostas. And then I will put a couple of hostas in that pot to kind of fill it out and not worry about it. So silver lining, guys, but no hostas, hibiscus. We're going to just start referring to these as hibiscus until otherwise. So here's the leaves. Take a close-up of this. If you have a plant program and identifier, take a picture of these. See what your identifier comes up with. Because Michelle and I only came up with the 2 options of either the Eastern redbud tree or the hibiscus. I got the hiccups again. Or the hibiscus. I would love to know what your identifier says it is. Okay? And by the way, thank you, Michelle. It was a pleasure. She has a twisted sixth sense of humor, and I love it. She's just like me. So we were like going back and forth, rapid fire emails about this and that, and what can we do, and the other thing. And yeah, you were a great help. I appreciate the time you took to work with me to try to figure this out. This is why I tell you guys, look, leave me a comment, email me. Let's work together to figure these things out. So now we know for sure TEMU sucks when it comes to seeds, but you guys rule when it comes to problem solving. I love that. Love you guys. Okay, let's get on to one more thing, and then we'll talk a little bit about how Mr. Levi is doing. The new microwave is stainless steel and black. And yes, it's reflective, but I wanted to show it to you. It's an LG model. And you notice you don't see any controls in here whatsoever. When I open the door, there's all your controls. It's all digital across the bottom. You have all these different settings. Hopefully you can see these and it's in focus. When the light goes on down here, the light doesn't come on with a snap. If I put it on high, it fades up to high. If I put it on low, it fades to low. And when I turn it off, it fades out. Absolutely love that. Down here on the bottom, I don't know if you can see, where is it? Right here, it says push. But I want you to look underneath, because when I push this, it comes out and the vent drops down. When I'm done venting, I simply just push the tray back in. The vent tucks back up out of the way. Now, right now it's not vented. The display here will stay on for a few seconds, allowing me to choose whatever I want to choose, but then it will fade out, and all you'll see in between are these two little dots. It has a hidden handle, as you can see. No handle. It's hidden on the side. And this is massive interior. Look at the size of this. This is turkey size, guys. Turkey size. But here's all the extra features that it has. All the extra things that you can choose. It gives you cooking guides, tells you what settings, kids meals, steam cook, simmer cooks. Look at all those different modes. Regular cooking, reheat cooking veggies, all sorts of information that you might need on this. It's all hidden in the door panel. Now, this is not magnetic in here. So my little splatter dome that I had that was magnetic I cannot use, but I can use my regular dish cover. Amazing machine, and yes, I've already broken it in. Hi, I know you can see me in the reflection, but it's big, it's beautiful. It's an LG, which is one of the top brands. This particular model is 5-star rated by hundreds of customers just from the one store that I purchased it from. Now, yes, it was pricey. It was almost $900. However, I waited for the 4th of July sale when it went on sale for 50% off, and I got it for $479. And then, of course, I added on a 3-year warranty for it. But she's been put to use already. She's big and beautiful. It fits like a glove in that spot and runs super, super quiet no matter what mode she's in. You remember I gave you the flatbread recipe, which was pretty basic. 1 cup small curd, low fat cottage cheese, 2 egg whites, blend it until smooth, throw in whatever spices you want, and bake for 40 minutes at 350 degrees. Very easy flatbread bread. And it's yummy because the only taste you get from it is simply the taste of the spices you put in. I used to make this for mom all the time. We would make our own little flatbread pizzas. And, she'd see me pull out she hates cottage cheese, guys. She seriously hates cottage cheese. She won't touch it in its regular form. However, she helped me make it the last time I was in Arizona. The last time I made it for her was about a year ago. And when it came out of the oven, we used it to make sandwiches. So because I had shaped it, you cut it in half and then you cut it into 4. And then you have your top and your bottom. And it's very thin. And you can get those sandwich thins, but this has less fat, less salt, less calories, less everything than even those sandwich thins have. So we used it to make a tuna melt. So it had the weight of the tuna, the melted cheese on this nice, soft, grilled but soft flatbread. Mom, I'll never forget her face. She took the first bite and she chewed it and she looked at me. She goes, "Where did the cottage cheese go?" Because it doesn't taste like that. It just tasted like the Italian spices. So one of you provided your recipe, basically almost the exact same thing. But what your recipe was, and guys, get a pen, write this down because I tried it and OMG, I'm not a person who typically likes egg whites, but you can't tell that these are egg whites. So you're going to take 2 cups of cottage cheese, 4 egg whites, or if you get the egg whites in the carton, the equivalent of what 4 egg whites would be, which I think is probably what, a half a cup, something along those lines, depending on the size of your eggs. You're going to blend that together again, put it in your little blender till it's smooth and creamy. And I used a little bit bigger blender. I didn't use my little bowl that I used, a regular side blender, right? I poured it into a bowl, and then I took that blender and I chopped up a little bit of fresh veggies that I put in there. What did I put in there? I put in mushroom and green pepper, and just pulsed it a little bit. I didn't puree it, but just pulsed it to chop it down into little pieces. And then I threw in a little bit of spice. I put a little bit of dill into it, and then throw that all into the bowl, mix it in with what you creamed, and pour it into your muffin pan. Now you can either spray, if you have a non-stick pan, you don't have to worry about it, but I always give it a little quick spray of oil or whatever on the pan, or you can use muffin liners if you want to. Put it in the oven, again, 350. Check it after about 15, 20 minutes because everybody's oven is different. Make sure you do the toothpick dip test in the center to make sure you're done. These came out what I call breakfast bites because they're so low in calories. I can eat 3 of them and it's not even 40 calories in 3 of them. And it's filling, but it's yummy. You can put anything you might want to put, say, for example, in an omelet. I could have chopped up pieces of sausage or pieces of ham instead of veggies and put that in there instead. But I'm trying to keep everything as low cal as I can. And for an update, my weight is kind of like because of my thyroid, but I am down a total of 5 pounds so far in my first 30 days. I'll take it because what I've lost is not coming back. So that's good. I'm maintaining. Now I have to break body memory. This is something that my doctor that connected me with this food plan made me aware of. When you stay at a certain weight for a period of time, your body remembers, it's comfortable at that weight. So it has a memory saying, oh, I know this weight. I can hang out here forever. Well, that's what's happening to me. I've stalled because of body memory. I haven't hit a plateau because I haven't lost enough weight to call it that, but I've stalled because of weight memory. So I have to change up a little bit, and I have to, for the next week to 10 days, I have to go on primarily soft or liquid foods so that my body has to start burning what's there and get away from that memory. All right. It's like, you ever heard your body has muscle memory that you don't, if you have a muscle you haven't used for a long time, once you start using it, your body will say, oh, yeah, I remember this. And that muscle will start to come back. It will start to rebuild. So that I'm hoping that I will be able to get past that. I have to be patient. Obviously, it's hard, but I'm okay with what I'm doing. So that's why I tried this recipe. I want to thank my viewer for sharing that. And now it's out there for everybody else. If you have any more recipes, if anybody has any recipes that you either want to see me make or you just want me to share with you, by all means, email me, put it in a comment. Because when you do put something in a comment, everybody can see it. So that means you're willing to share it. At least that's my interpretation, that you're willing to share it because you put it in a public comment. So if you do something like that, and I think it can benefit all of us, then I'm glowy. Sorry. But then, yes, I'm going to put it out there. All right. So we have two more things to cover. But while we're doing what's going on around the corner, I'm going to tell you about Mr. Levi. A couple of days ago, he went to the vet for a 6-week follow-up. I had been seeing some things going on with him over the past 6 weeks where he was having some rough days. And I mentioned it to the vet, and I could see the concern on the vet's face, and that gave me concern. And I admit, I started getting a little weepy and I started getting a little scared. It's a very emotional journey for me when I know I'm going to lose him sooner rather than later. So the vet took him in the back, did an ultrasound of his entire abdomen area, listened to his heart, did the blood work, came back in the room, and he had this really weird look on his face. And I mean, like quizzical. He had this, what the frog look on his face. And he's like, okay. And I mean, he came back in with Levi. And he said, all right, we got to talk about this. And I'm thinking, oh, Lord. His blood work was exactly the same. None of his blood work has changed in months. All his levels are staying perfectly fine, or they're being maintained where they were. They may not be the greatest, like he's still anemic, but it's not getting any worse. It's not getting any better. He doesn't make his own iron, and therefore he doesn't retain a lot of iron. So that's why he's on an iron supplement. But his levels are good. He has a good amount of iron in his system. All his other levels and his enzymes were the same as what they had been. His liver is a third bigger than it was 6 weeks ago. He said his liver now is about the size of a kid's football. And I think he called it a Nerf ball. So if you know how big a kid's football is, all right, his liver is supposed to be maybe about this big. It's now this big. And that's part of the disease. That's the cancer and the acidities that's infiltrating his liver. And I kind of knew because I mentioned to the doctor that I noticed his bloat was a little bit more predominant. And he says, yeah, that's the growth of the liver. He says, but the liver is like a big muscle. He says, if you work on something and it has to work, or if you're working really hard in your arms or your legs, your muscle's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. He says, well, his liver's working very hard. So like a muscle, it's getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Well, of course, my first thought is, oh my God, this thing is going to rupture. He says, nope. He says, it can fill the entire cavity. He says, it'll just keep getting bigger. He said it's just a matter of how it's going to interfere with the other organs in his body. Well, he was shocked to see that even with the size of his liver, Levi has no gallbladder issues because it's pressing up against some organs. No sign of any damage or infiltration of any of the other organs. None of them are affected. His spleen has not changed. He said, if anything, the spleen's gotten a little smaller with not quite as much fluid on the inside of it. So he was happy to see that, but he can't explain it. Neither can I. Okay. But he said what really got him is with the size of the liver, he expected to see that Levi would be jaundice, meaning yellow gums, yellow whites of the eyes, yellow between his toes, where you can see the thinner skin. All right. Any place where you would see exposed skin, so to speak, on a dog, you would see that yellow tint. No jaundice whatsoever. No increase in the liver enzymes that would indicate that he's about to become jaundice. Nothing. So Levi is stumping all of us. That's the good news. The not so good news, the distressing news for me, was that his external symptoms that he's starting to manifest. He's getting noticeably weaker. He has a like I do, he has NSVT, which is non-sustained ventricular tachycardia. He has an arrhythmia in his heart that his heart will beat perfectly, if you listen to it for 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden it'll go boom, 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 and then it'll go back to boom, 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 boom. So it has that little arrhythmia in it now, which is usually an indication of it can be stress, anxiety, exhaustion, exertion. So if it's taking Levi, in other words, at the vet's when he's very nervous being examined or he's stressed, it could be the cause for it, but it's not concerning enough to the vet. He just noted that he was picking up on it. But it does make sense because Levi has been losing a lot of energy lately. When we go out for his walks, he'll go out down the stairs, run down the stairs, fine, no problem, do what he's got to do. But then it's like he's out of energy. He'll stand perfectly still like a statue for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, however long I let him. And he won't move. He's not trembling. He's not panting. He's not doing anything that would indicate he's in distress. He's just not moving. And what the doctor kind of equated that to was Levi's anemia. Because he's anemic, because he has a lower iron level, even though his levels are okay, he doesn't have that energy. So when he does anything, it saps all the energy from him and it takes him a minute or two to regain. When it's time for us to come back in the house, he'll stand at the bottom of the stairs and just stare up there as if he's like, oh God, I don't know if I can do this. And I have my hands ready to give his butt a little lift. But once he gets started, he goes up the stairs. He's just very hesitant. The other thing that I'm seeing is his appetite is starting to be off a little bit. Maybe once or twice a week, he won't eat anything until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then he'll eat like there's no tomorrow. That's never been him. So you put all these things together and you can see that the disease is starting to take a toll on him. It's wearing him down. Even though chemically he's doing good, physically, this is a battle for him. And I will do whatever I can. And the vet and I talked about what can we do when the time comes for palliative for him, as long as he's not in any pain and he's not suffering and he still has some sort of quality of life where he has his happy moments and his playful moments and those are still there, then what can we do for palliative for him? So I was on a roller coaster of emotions on Friday. I cried a lot, just like I did with Sadie when I knew that her days were numbered. But, we got through it and he did have a rough night last night. His appetite was off, which I'm not surprised. Every time he visits the vet, his appetite just kind of goes crazy. But for the most part, our boy is doing good. Something on my lip. Don't know. But anyway, that's the update on Levi. Me, I'm still battling with the insomnia, but I realized more so it's not that I can't sleep, it's that I've got that mother's ear open listening for Levi all night long. And that's why I'm not sleeping soundly. I realized that last night because I heard him immediately coming down the hallway when he needed to go out at 2 o'clock, which told me that I wasn't sleeping soundly. I was listening for that. And again at 4, and again at 6:15. So I know he's a little off, and I think that's what's been keeping me awake. So I'm going to let it run its course. I'm retired. I can take a nap. Naps are very highly underrated activity. Did you know they're considered an activity? Do you know you can actually burn calories when you nap? You know why? Because you're not eating. One of you asked me, I gave you the 3 ingredients, so to speak, to make the flatbread. And one of you had made a comment that if I could come up with the 4th ingredient, I would be her hero. And my response was the 4th ingredient is putting a lock on the refrigerator door. Old habits are hard to break. And you're never too old to learn new things, right? Okay. So enough of what's been going around the corner. It's time for subscriber spotlight. Today I am going to show you this nice blingy bag and what's in it. And our subscriber spotlight today is Brenda's Blingy Treasures. Now, Brenda is a long-time viewer of this channel. I think practically from day one. She was in my first 20 subscribers. Because when I went back to my very first video ever and I looked at the commenters and the subscribers, she was one of the first 20 people to subscribe to my channel. And when I was driving cross country to move from Arizona to Alabama, I stopped in New Mexico and I personally got to meet Brenda. We had a wonderful dinner, big conversation together. We just hit it off. We're so much alike and have so much in common. And then I found out about her business. Now, I've known about her business for a while, but I haven't really had the opportunity to promote it on the subscriber spotlight. So I am going to do that for you today. Brenda's business is paparazzi jewelry. Now, you may have heard of paparazzi. It's been around for about a decade. And all the parts, it's funny because they get a lot of their parts where I get my parts from the Philippines, from Japan, but then they assemble everything here in the United States, which is kind of what I do. So their suppliers are actually my suppliers. Some of the cabochons and the settings that I use are exactly what they use. I just put different things in them and combine them differently to make them look differently. So the first thing is, in her package, she always puts this beautiful little thanks gorgeous little heart inside of it. I love that. What does it say? Thank you so much for supporting my small business. Let me get it closer. There you go. And then on the back, she signs it. She's got beautiful handwriting. Look at that. Love, Brenda. I do love Brenda. I do love you, girl. You're amazing. I told her the next time that I fly in to see Mama, I'm going to take a little hop from Phoenix to New Mexico on the plane. I'll take a short little hop and I'll go and spend a day and visit with Brenda. So let me show you what I got. Now, initially, before all the tariffs and the price increases and everything else, because the pieces that paparazzi is made from come from overseas, they are subject to the tariffs and, of course, the higher prices. Initially, paparazzi for years was $5 plus tax, no matter what item you got, whether it was a necklace and earring set, whether it was a bracelet, whether it was just a necklace or just earrings or rings, everything was $5. Now everything is $8 a piece, but I still happen to think it's a great bargain. She uses these beautiful little bags which I save because they come in handy for all sorts of things. And let me show you what I got from her. I got several pairs of earrings, and then I got something different. Hold on here. Let me open all these. She even has the bigger bags. Look at those. She's got the smaller bags for smaller items and the bigger bags for the bigger items. That's putting a lot of thought and care into what she does, to take the time to do all that. All right, let me get these separated here. All right, we're going to start with these simply because I grabbed them. Now remember, each of these was $8 a piece, plus the shipping and the taxes. And the shipping was not bad. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 7 pieces, and the shipping was under $7. So $1 a piece is not bad. This first pair, these are regular French hooks. Look at those. This really soft mint green. I didn't have anything this color, believe it or not. And they're not quite as long as what I'm wearing. If I put my neck back, they will just barely brush my shoulder. But those are absolutely gorgeous. And on the back, they're pressed and punched, so even from behind, they look really, really nice. I love those. I can't wait to wear these. And believe it or not, they're very lightweight. They're not, you can tell you have them on. They're not as light as these. You can tell that you have them on, but they don't pull and yank at your ear. And guess what, guys? If you want them shorter, see the rings? You can take the little beads off the bottom, or you can separate it from up here and make them as short as you want. You can take this whole bottom piece off and have it stop at that length, or you can take a ring off here and have it stop at that length, because they would even be cute like that, at that length. So you can modify these if you like these overall. If you prefer a shorter earring, you just contact Brenda and she will let you know what she has available in the lengths that you like. She knows I like these dusters, or that I like the longer length, especially with when my hair is down. I want my earrings to still be able to be seen. Now, these are just fun. I saw them. I think she had 2 pairs of them, and I had to, before she even put a number on them, I had to jump on them and go, those are mine, I want them. Brenda is very, I can't get this open. Brenda is very meticulous. She's very picky about what she selects to give to present to her viewers, to her shoppers. She's always looking for the quality, for the uniqueness, for something very different. And these are different. Cocktails, strawberry daiquiris. Ah, gosh, I had to have them. Not super long. Definitely will not touch your shoulder. Just very, very playful. They have, and you see how they're reversed, so that you can have the straw like pointing out on one side, or if you wear it on the other side, you can have the straw pointing towards your face. But they're mirrored, which is the way they should be when something is designed like this. Look at that. Is that not, that's so playful and just so cool. Absolutely love those. And I know exactly what outfit I could actually wear them with this outfit, because it has all the colors that this one has. Love these. Again, on the back, they're pressed, so they look just as attractive from behind. Those are cool. You know me, I love the bling and I love the glitter, but playful and glitter, that's a bonus. All right, pair number 3. Now, these are my purchases. I'm not selling them to you. I'm showing you what I got from Miss Brenda. She will be more than happy to hook you up with these earrings. I got these because again, I didn't have anything like them. And these are just red and white hoops with stars. And the stars do spin and the bling is on both sides. Got little beads in between. They're on wire hooks. Not too big. They will not touch the shoulder. And again, they're very lightweight. But I have an outfit that I wish I would have had these for, but I can still wear the outfit because, we have Labor Day coming up and I can wear stars anytime. But red and silver bling. I love these. I like hoops that you can add things to or change things. Very cool, right? So see, you also get to see my tastes. Now, this one is actually called the Showstopper. That's its name, is the Stellar, Stellar, Stellar Showstopper. These are posts. Let me tighten them up so they don't come apart. Look at that. OMG. The back of the earring that goes on the post is where your star is, or your sun, whatever this burst that you want to call. That's the back of the earring. That's the earring back that goes on, right? Or the earring front. No, that's the earring front. Okay, that's the earring front. The earring backs are the half moons. So if you don't want the half moons and you just want this, then all you have to do is put on a regular post backing to have these. That's turned around. That's all right. I get it. But the combination, and yes, these are dusters if you put the moons on them. But I saw that she was wearing these. And I said, those are mine. I have to have what's in your ears. But she had another set. So I got these. I think because of, I know from making jewelry how much work goes into setting all these individual stones. They're not set by machines, guys. These are all set by hand. They're set by hand. So in order to put all that bling in there, that's a lot of work. That takes a lot of time. If I had made something like this, I'd probably be selling them for 20 bucks. But to get this for $8, and technically it'd be 2 pair of earrings, one that looks like this when you wear just the fronts, looks like this when you wear the backs. You can also put these backs on any other gold tone earrings. Maybe you just have like my studs. I can use my stud as the front and have the moon hanging down the back and just use it in the second hole instead of in the bottom hole. You can mix and match when you have something like this. So, loving that. Thank you for that, Miss Brenda. And my last pair of earrings. Not my last pair ever, but my last pair to show you from what I got from her. And I wanted you to see the quality of these because when paparazzi first came out, about a decade ago, their quality was not the greatest. There was a lot of problems with the jewelry coming apart, the stones coming out, not everything being hypoallergenic. And with these, everything is hypoallergenic. And you don't have to worry about if you have a metal allergy, which I do, but I can wear these without any problems. They don't bother my ears at all. Now, these are really dusters. And these are available not only in the silver, with the silver sparkle, but they're also available in gold with the crystal. But I wanted just the silver. And again, with these, if they're too long for you, you just take off one of the bottom stars and you make them a little shorter. Or you take off two of the stars and you make them a little shorter. I can take off bottom star and hang a little bead or something on that hole to make it look a little different and give it a little color. And then I can make a shorter pair of earrings out of the two that I take off. I love these. Very, very shiny, very blingy. Look at that. And yes, she has clip-ons. She has a lot of posts. She has a lot of shorter earrings. The selection is enormous. So don't go buy these bigger, dangly, duster type earrings that I like to have. You figure out what you like, and then you go check out Miss Brenda's site. All the information for her business, for her website, will be in the description box. Again, it's Brenda's Blingy Treasures. She is in the United States. She does a live video. So if you follow her and click the notification bell, you'll find out whenever she's going to do a live show. That's how you can see the items. She'll present them to you. You'll order them. She'll send you an invoice, confirm your address. She ships immediately as soon as she's got your payment, and she ships usually 24 to 48 hours. Very, very quickly. These were delayed by the post office, but not by Brenda. The day after I ordered all these, there was a tracking number and they were on their way. But because it was around the 4th of July, they sat at the post office for 6 days. All right. So I actually have now to show you. And I'm going to ask you something about this. I can get them separated here. There we go. This one out. I have two of the same item. So there's two possibilities. Now, I did not get this because it was a necklace set. Let me unkink the chain here. Chains get kinked up during shipping. We all know that, right? It's just a matter of figuring out which way you got to twist them to get them unkinked. I'll worry about it later. All right, so nice thick chain on this. Really nice link on this. It does come with a tiny little pair of just the rhinestone crystal clears, but look at what's on the bottom. Look at these blingy lips. Blingy, sparkly, purple lips with rhinestones all the way around them. And yes, there's a rhinestone that fell out. I noticed that too, right there, but it is down in the bottom of the bag, so I will see if I can get it put back in. But Brenda will do returns. She will do refunds or replacements if you come across an item like this, right, that has a stone missing or that has any other type of damage to it. But why did I get two, you ask? Well, I got two initially because I was going to take them off the chain and make them into earrings. I was going to modify it and make it into an earring. Big lips. That's why I got two. And then I thought about it and I thought, well, you know what? My viewers might like this. So I might change my mind and put one of these in the new giveaway box that I've started gathering things for. Because I think this very funky, unique piece of jewelry. This is about an 18-inch chain, but it does have a 3-inch extender on it. So when it goes around, it's a shorter necklace. Whoops. It will go, let me grab the middle of it. The way you tell is you put it to the sides of your neck. So that's about where it will sit on your neck. It'll sit higher right there. I think it's very cool as a necklace. So here's the thing, guys. I want you to vote. Should I turn these into a pair of purple lip earrings? Or should I keep one for myself and put the other one in the giveaway box? And I'm going to leave it up to you. So I want you to vote either hashtag box or hashtag earrings and let me know. I couldn't resist them though. I could not resist them. She had a red one, and I don't know if she has any more or can get any more that are the red, but the purple is just so different. I have enough red jewelry. I have a lot of red jewelry because obviously that's my favorite color. But this purple was just so different. I could even turn the one, if I just keep one, what would I do with it? I can turn it into a hat pin. Can you see this big lips sitting on the top of a hat as a hat pin? That would be seriously cool. So I can turn it as a hat pin. I can turn it into a keychain. I can turn it into a brooch and wear it that way. So there's a lot of things I can do with just one, or I can contact Brenda and get another. Right? Loving that though. Look at that. And it's got some thickness to it, but it has no weight. It's very, very, very light. So tell me what you think. Let me know. As I said, all the information for Brenda is in the description box. I'll make sure that her email is in there, the link to her store. I've asked her to provide all that to me. But you can also look for any comments that she leaves. She's the only Brenda that ever comments. She's the only Brenda that I know that I have as a viewer that uses her name, Brenda, in the comments. So if you see her that way, by all means, feel free to communicate with her. I'll give you as much information as I can, but that is our subscriber spotlight for today. I do have another subscriber that I'm talking with to see if she wants to do the spotlight. She makes different things from resin, different molds and different decorative things like that. So I'm working with her. I've been communicating with her off and on to see if that's something that she wants to possibly do. With Brenda, obviously, this is a business for her. This is her second income. She does have a full-time job, but she gives this just as much attention. She ships quickly. Everything is wrapped in nice bubble wrap pieces. She puts all these beautiful little stickers on the back of it. She's got the one for the post office that says, hey, mail carrier, you are essential to my business. Thank you. Stay healthy and safe. And then, what's that say? Repeat customers are totally awesome. Instead of totally awesome, repeat customers are totally awesome. That's another thing. This is not my first order that I've gotten from Brenda. When you buy so many pieces, and I think it's 10 pieces, maybe 10 or 12, Brenda will correct me and let me know. But when you do a certain amount of pieces, you get a free item. So I've earned, between my prior order and this order, I've earned a free item, and I don't know what it's going to be. Might be another set of purple lips, depending on what you vote for. But yeah. So I love doing member spotlights. If you have a business, no matter what it is, as long as it's above board and not, let's say, off color, all right? If you have any kind of a business and you ship or are willing to ship, even if you only are willing to ship in the United States, or even if you're maybe in the UK and you're only willing to ship within the UK, that's fine. We can let our viewers know that that's the case. But you can still be promoted. I'm happy to promote your business. You guys have given me so much support. The least I can do is throw some support at you too. And this is the best way I know how to do it. So that being said, Give everything a big thumbs up, especially Brenda's Blingy Treasures. Make sure you share this video so everybody can see what's going on around the corner, the TEMU items, the jewelry, you name it. By the way, Mama is doing fine. I know when I don't talk about her, that means there's no problem. Okay? No news is good news when it comes to Mama. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. It's the one free thing that everybody can do to help any channel that they watch grow. It helps us grow. It helps us show up more on the algorithm so more people can see our channel. It helps with the monetization that supports our channel so that we can continue to show you products and have those funds that we need. Thank you for everyone who has supported me through buymeacoffee.com. I've had a lot of people tell me that I should do a members only page. No, I don't ever want to say, hey, if you want to see this particular criteria or this content, I don't want you to have to even pay $1 a week. No. If you want to donate to this channel, you can, to help support it, you can do that through buymeacoffee.com, either a one-time or a recurring donation, or you've got my P.O. box. You can send some goodies for me or Mr. Levi. Mr. Levi has a lot of goodies coming. The vet and I talked about different things that we can do to help him maintain his weight, for his comfort, for his old bones, for more relaxation. And of course, I jumped right on that and I spent all afternoon Friday and all day yesterday focusing on things that I could get for Mr. Levi. So in about a week's time, you're going to see all of that. You're also going to see some new shopping that I found that beats TEMU hands down. Yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I have 4 packages coming from there, and I still have 4 or 5 at least coming from TEMU, which I'll mix in every once in a while. I don't think I'm going to be doing AliExpress anymore because AliExpress's prices have gotten too high, and I'm just not comfortable spending a certain amount for a product that I know I can get elsewhere for a lot less. That's just my personal opinion. If there's any place that you do think I should try to shop or that I should look at, by all means, leave me a comment or drop me an email, konneeslittlecorner@gmail.com. And in the meantime, stay hydrated. Above all else, please stay sweet. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your input. And I will catch you in just a few days with the answer to the Amazon riddle. Bye.